How did I get the name ZGphoto? So originally back in 2011, I was starting a hobby in photography. I started going around. I really wanted to be an automotive photographer specifically. I went around taking pictures of my mom's car, which was a G6, my buddy's car, which was a Pontiac Grand Am, Pontiac G6, Pontiac Grand Am. And all I had was an iPhone. It was like an iPhone 3G. And I went around taking pictures of my mom's car in the in her driveway. We went up and I went to like a couple parking lots of churches, and I was just kind of going around with my iPhone and editing it however I could with the 30-day trials of Photoshop with just my iPhone 3GS camera. And I would do a lot of like hardcore editing, a little bit too much editing, which can happen because you get excited. But I would do this. I would go out with my buddy's car, and I actually have some example pictures of me backing up my mom's G6 and his Grand Am next to each other, and it's like I'd have play it as like new car versus old car. And what I did is I always wanted to name something or a business after myself, which is ZG is the abbreviation for my name, photography, which is what I was doing. It's not very clever, but it just whatever I do, I've always wanted to have my name in it. So I went with ZG Photography. And what I did is I started posting my pictures on forums and Facebook pages. For example, on GM's Facebook page and Ford's Facebook page and Chrysler's Facebook page, and wherever I could post pictures, I tried. And then there was one car forum, that actually reached out to me. I think it was just via a comment, and said, how would you like to work for us and go to auto shows and debuts? And at first I thought there's just no way. This is just too good to be true. But I'm a young kid. I was probably 22 maybe. No, 22. Was it 22? I can't even remember. It was so long ago. Was that how old I was? Yeah, I had to have been. Either way, 22, 23. And I reached out to them and I said, of course, I would love to. So the first debut that I went to, I think it was the 2012 Cadillac ATS. That was the first ever debut I went for them. I was extremely nervous, extremely excited. I actually met up with one of the people that was also like doing some freelance work with them, which is what they hired me on for. And we got to sit basically front row, which I have some pictures of the debut as well, of the Cadillac ATS. So I got the name ZG Photography or ZG Photo from my work back in the day with the automotive forum. And it was some of the most exciting work. I got to, go to the North American International Auto Show. I went to plenty of debuts. My favorite one still today is the Corvette C7 Stingray, which was just amazing. And I have so many stories to tell about that. But it was the best time of my like entrepreneurial mindset of going out and, getting some traction on being my own photographer, ZG Photography. And then I carried it over into Twitch because I thought ZG Photo would be a little bit easier to say and less ridiculously long as ZG Photography on Twitch when I'm gaming. So I went ZG Photo, and it kind of stuck. And now our community's name is ZG Photography, ZG Photo with the Photo Bombers. And I thought it's just a good play of like my name with the Photo Bombers attached to it. So that's how I got the name ZG Photo. I'm from the state of Michigan in the Metro Detroit area, and born and raised, and do eventually plan on moving out of the state, but I love it, and I don't regret anything. I love the seasons. That's probably one of my favorite things. But winters, man, winters are rough. Some streamers that I look up to, I have a lot of people that have motivated me to be where I am today. I will actually say when I first found Twitch was because of my photography, but I think it was actually still Justin TV at that point. But when I graduated college, And I've always been a gamer. I wanted to treat myself to a console, and I haven't owned a console at that point in a very long time. So I got the PlayStation 4, and it came with Destiny. And when I bought the console, a lot of my friends were playing Destiny, and I accidentally pushed the share button, and I found this website called Twitch. At that point, I didn't realize what Twitch was or the differences of Twitch and Justin TV at all at that point. But I found Twitch, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look up Twitch and like what Twitch is, and I looked up Destiny because that's the game that I was playing and really addicted to. And I found his name was or is, excuse me, King Gathalion. And King Gathalion was to me one of the most entertaining people I can still say to this day that I continue to watch and support. I'm actually subbed him, I think, for 54 months now. And he was my first ever follow and first ever sub on the platform Twitch. So for me, I would say King Gathalion is hands down one of the most influential people in my streaming career to this date. But now, I mean, I've been on this platform for 4.5 years, and I've met some amazing broadcasters, have some really close friends because of this platform. And I could go on a huge list of people that I look up to, streamers that I look up to. But I would say overall, King Gathalion is probably still to this day one of the most influential people that I know on this platform, and I am very grateful for him in that manner for sure. I have actually been streaming on this platform for about 4.5 years. I consider my first day of truly like streaming as something that I wanted to pursue on November 5th, because November 5th is actually my mom's birthday. And that's actually, funny story is I got partnered on November 3rd. So I consider like everything happening within that November 5th mark for everything. I've been streaming on this platform for 4.5 years, just over 4.5 years, uh, coming up on 5 years. And what keeps me streaming is the love for content creating. Content creating is one of the most stressful things that I have ever done in my young life, but it's also one of the most rewarding. I've gotten messages from friends that I've met through Twitch, community members through Twitch, and it's such a humbling experience to be able to create something every day that people wake up and want to be a part of. I think one of my favorite experiences every day that I go live is as soon as I hit that start stream button, I have people waiting for me to go live. And sometimes it's even the case of where before I have gone live, people are hanging out and starting conversations and being a part of the channel before I even push the start stream button. So I think what keeps me streaming truly is the love for content creating and the community that's being built and continues to be built throughout my streaming career. And I think I've loved this. I love this job. This has become my full-time job. I also got my degree in streaming, or excuse me, in broadcasting. And now, granted, with Twitch, it's not one of those things that you can just go out and apply for and then look at your resume. They look at your degree. Your application is your numbers that you create on this platform, and that's probably one of the most difficult things. But I'm very grateful to be in a position that I am now, to have my degree and to be able to do this as a full time job that isn't necessarily a job that you can just apply for, but it is my degree. I can still use my degree, but I'm able to create content and have people enjoy it. And I think that's like what keeps me going, is the idea that when I wake up, people are waiting for me to create content, to be a part of the community and hang out. It's one of the best things. It's honestly something that's really hard to explain to people that may not truly understand it. But that's what keeps me streaming, is knowing that people are there ready and wanting to watch the content that I create. It's very humbling and I love it. I think the question of what sets me aside from other streamers is tough to answer because there are so many broadcasters on the platform Twitch that you just never know what truly sets you aside from another broadcaster. Everybody is doing mainly the same thing, content creating, whether it's gaming, podcasting, art, music, whatever. But it's the idea is to entertain and create content that others are able to enjoy. I think what sets me apart from other streamers, or at least some other streamers, is that since I do have my degree in this particular platform in the sense of broadcasting, I think it also helps me with audio. It helps me with video. Granted, I don't have the best equipment, but I know what good looks like and sounds like. And a lot of times for me as a broadcaster, and with having this degree, I am a perfectionist. If something does not look good visually or through sound, I need to make it look good and sound good before I truly continue on making content. If I'm sounding crackly or the audio is quiet, I need to make sure before I even continue with the stream, even if I'm live, I need to fix that issue because I know for a fact if it sounds bad or looks bad and a new community member comes in, that's usually the first thing that they see or hear. And with those 30 seconds of somebody coming into your stream, that 30 seconds is what you have to sell that person to stay and be a part of the community. And if it looks bad and sounds bad, typically they will, move to the next broadcaster. And I think that's what maybe potentially could set me aside from other streamers, is that idea that like I kind of know what sounds good and I know what kind of looks good. I'm not saying I know what looks the best. I know, some people can do it, however you want. But for me, I think breaking things down in thirds, what audio sounds like, it's very important. And I think that potentially could set me aside from other streamers. But again, it's tough because there's so many people on this platform doing amazing work. And it's tough. It's tough to really truly know what sets me aside from the streamer to my right and left in the directory. It's tough. So in my mind, the best game to stream is games that you enjoy. Do not force yourself to play something just because either A, the numbers are higher in a directory, B, because, that's popular now, so you need to play it. Growing up on Twitch in the last 4 years, I have gone through my own stages of learning this platform. Back in the day when I first started streaming, I wanted and I did enjoy being a Sherpa, where a Sherpa is typically somebody that likes to teach or coach people through activities and try to help as many people as possible. And when I started on Twitch, that's what I did. I was known for viewer raids. I was known for viewer nightfalls, viewer activities in general on Destiny to help people get through those encounters. And as I grew on Twitch and finally Destiny 2 came out and I was still doing that. So I did a lot of Sherpa stuff on my channel for about 4 years. About three years I did a lot of Sherpaing. Destiny 2 came out and I still did that. But unfortunately, Destiny went through a hard start. The content was, for me, and I'm speaking specifically for me, it got very repetitive and very boring very quickly. Even when I was doing viewer raids and helping people out, it was a lot of fun, but unfortunately the content was kind of mixed where if I pulled you through a raid for the very first time and you were part of a clan, you got something from the raid that I would consider pretty good. I would be excited for you, but you would tell me that you already had it because a clan engram gave it to you already. So I was going through this like tough phase of, okay, well, I can do these raids, but people don't really necessarily need them because they're getting all this stuff from the clan engrams anyway. So I started doing a lot of nightfalls because I enjoyed the challenge of the nightfalls. And And I was starting to be considered the Nightfall guy. I was everybody's go-to Nightfall guy. But then I started to realize that the stuff that was in the Nightfalls were never really that worth. Maybe it was worth to the people, and I understand that, but it just, people were getting it done to get an aura around their head, just like a glowing thing around their head. And I respect it. I tried to help out as many people as possible, but unfortunately, as somebody that did that every day, it got to a point where like it just did not feel worth for me, and it didn't feel worth for the people that I was helping. And it got to a point where I didn't know if I could continue to do this. So I took a chance in a very popular game named Fortnite. I just started playing it when it was like season 3 or season 2, I can't remember. And I started playing it, but I really enjoyed it because it was something fresh, something new for me, and it was my first ever true like experience of playing a BR on stream. I played a lot of PUBG and it was fun, but it was very slow. So I started playing Fortnite. And I got the question a lot on stream, when are you going back to Destiny? When are you going to start doing viewer raids? When are you going to start doing your Nightfalls? And I said, I don't know. I mean, I'll be going back, but I'm really enjoying Fortnite. I think I'm going to stick with this for a while. And then I came to find out with my own mind, because I had times when I would wake up and not want to stream. I would wake up and not want to play Destiny. And that was a scary place in my streaming career because things were taking off, but I didn't want to stream, and that's scary. But when I started playing Fortnite, I had that excitement to sign on. Like, man, I just want to play. I just want to play Fortnite. And that's when I had like a face-to-face with myself in the mirror and said, you know, I think at this current point in my streaming career, I am going to play games that I want to play. Play games that I think that are entertaining to myself, that will hopefully carry over and entertain people that are in the community. And I think for me, that's when I made the realization with myself that if I was to continue being a Sherpa in Destiny, I would have been so burnt out that I might have potentially stopped streaming. And I have now continued that mantra for myself, where it's, I'm going to play what I think that I'll enjoy. I still consider myself a pretty picky gamer, so I don't just play everything. You know, I may put some variety in my channel, but I don't consider myself a variety streamer. Usually when I play games, I play them for extended periods of time. So with that being said, I think playing games that you enjoy is the most important thing as a broadcaster when trying to figure out what you want to play. If you see other people succeeding in one specific thing, let's say, for example, I have a lot of friends that still do viewer help, but I also see a lot of people seeing their success and thinking that's what they should do too. And I try to tell people, please don't go down that way just because you see other people succeeding that way. Don't force yourself to do something or compare yourself to somebody because they have some success. And it's easier said than done, and I understand that. But I always recommend stream what you want, play what you want. The community will be built around you, and that's the most important. So when you're playing Destiny and then you switch to Sea of Thieves, that community will still be around. Now, granted, I understand not everybody likes certain games, so like sometimes they may leave and watch something else, and I totally understand that. But the most important thing that I have learned in my 4.5 years, almost 5 on Twitch, is play what you want on stream, because that community will support you either way, and that's the most important part. So I think what inspired me to stream was probably back in the day with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And this goes way back. I used to do montages. I used to make commentaries. I made a plethora of montages, and I used to make content. I used to create content all the time for Call of Duty. I went out and got a Dazzle, which is like a little like component, like USB component capture card, and I used to make montages back in the day. And originally when I went to college, I was big into sports. I played soccer my entire life, so I figured that that's what I had to do in college. So I went to college. My first 2 years, I was trying to get an exercise science degree. And it wasn't for me. I just didn't know why. Like, I just never was good at science just to begin with, but I felt like I needed to go into sports. But I was making commentaries during this time and montages during this time. And I started to realize, I'm like, you know what? I bet you I could get my degree in something like this, right? Like I could get my degree in video editing or video production or whatever. And I found a major that was called electronic media, which was video production and radio production. Now, granted, the degree that I got, or the place it wanted you to go, was more live to tape, which is like radio, and then like news, which is live to tape, which is you're in a studio, you have a control room, you're in a control room, you're holding cameras. Now, technically, I don't even think they hold cameras anymore, but you're in a control room, you're pushing buttons, kind of going from camera 1, camera 2, and it was relatively boring to me. But my idea is if I wanted to create my own content, whether it be when I was doing my automotive forum stuff, like I wanted to create my own automotive forum, do like review videos, things like that, it would help me in the future to do that. And I started to get my degree in that, and I loved every bit of it. When I graduated, I got the PlayStation 4, and it came with Destiny. And all my friends played Destiny. I accidentally pushed the share button, and I was like, you know what? Now, granted, I can't just apply for this. Like, this is something you just can't apply for, and they look at your resume and your diploma. But I can work on this and see how streaming goes. I've always been a gamer in my life. I've always been a gamer. My entire life, I've always been a gamer. You can kind of tell by some of the stuff behind me. It's kind of like my trophy shelf. I got the PlayStation 1, Sega. I had my N64, and then from a garage sale, I got a Nintendo Genesis. But I was always a gamer in my life, in my entire life. So I thought, well, why don't I use my degree in a platform called Twitch and stream and create content? In the beginning, for the first 2 years of my creating content on Twitch, I was streaming off the PS4. I was using PS4 share. First, like few months, I didn't have a camera. I didn't have any source to read chat. So I would literally have chat up on the screen, reading that. And then eventually I got a camera. And then eventually I connected my laptop to Twitch, so I was like, you know what? I can just read off my laptop. Started doing that. I did that for 2 years. I also sat on the floor for at least a year. I sat on the floor of my apartment living room, and I would have a kitchen chair behind me, stack it up with like 5 pillows, throw a green blanket over the chair, and wedge it between the couch and the chair so that the green screen was like flat and straight. And then when it was in the daylight, my green screen worked. And if you go on my YouTube channel, you could see a lot of my videos of when the green screen's not working, so I don't even use it. So like you can see me sitting in a white t-shirt with the green blanket behind me. I'm sitting on the floor. I have a kitchen chair behind me, stack of 5 pillows. My back killed me every time. After every stream, my back would kill me. My butt would go numb. Like it was torture. But now I can say like it helped me learn to progress, and honestly, I was able to use my degree. So like what inspired me to stream was, I would have to say, back in the day when I made Call of Duty videos, and I'm very grateful that I made that like leap into electronic media and video production, that allowed me to use some of my education on this platform. Now, granted, does it give me a huge like head start? No, not really, but it allows me mentally to make sure my audio sounds good, make sure my video looks good. And I think, to me, truly, that's given me just a little heads up. And I think that's what inspired me. Making Call of Duty videos, making montages, and I loved it. I love creating content. So that's probably what inspired me to stream. Other hobbies that I have outside of video games. I started getting back in. I don't know if Pokemon cards is considered like a video game, because Pokemon the video game, obviously. But other hobbies that I have outside of video game, man, it's tough because like I don't even consider video games as a hobby. It's kind of my job. It's my career. So I typically never play video games when I'm not streaming. It's very rare that I'm usually playing and not streaming. Occasionally it happens, but I don't actually play much video games off stream. Hobbies that I have besides video games, though, I would say like I'm kind of going back to my roots as a kid. Collecting Pokemon cards. Like, it's fun. It's just exciting. It's something easy to do. It kind of lets me like organize and have fun with that. Um, I would say hobbies though, man. It's tough. I would say like putzing in my OBS, making graphics, Photoshop. Photoshop is like a hobby of mine. I like taking pictures and messing around on Photoshop, seeing what I can create on Photoshop. But it's tough because like for me, don't have many hobbies. I used to play disc golf. I still consider like I would consider disc golf a hobby, but I don't get to play it that much because honestly, streaming does take a lot of my time. And it's hard to not work on something that's for stream because typically I have so much I could be doing for stream. I would still say like producing videos like this video specifically. This will be episode 1 of the Who is Blank series that I want to create. And so like creating content, I would say, is also like a hobby of mine. It's fun. I enjoy it. And it's relatively unique. But man, hobbies, I would say like Pokemon cards, drinking good beer. I am a big fan of drinking good beer. I like, we go to beer fest all the time, and I like to explore my taste buds on unique beers, and whether I like them or not, it doesn't matter. I want to try them. So, I would say Pokemon cards and enjoying good beers is a hobby. I love, when I go to a bar and they have a huge beer list, I get to, maybe explore a little bit. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And that's okay. But I would say probably Pokemon cards is a hobby, and drinking craft beer is definitely a hobby. Definitely a hobby. It's fun. I enjoy it. So, as I grow older, what is a piece of advice you would give to someone younger? I'm going to carry that into Twitch specifically. I think anybody that's coming to this platform, whether it's you're, older, younger, experienced, not experienced with streaming, this platform welcomes anybody. If you're newer with experience, like, you don't have much experience on this platform, the first thing that I always say to anybody that's really trying to stream is have some consistency. It does not matter what you stream off of. Again, I streamed off of PlayStation Share for 2 years before I ever made the leap to PC streaming. So it doesn't necessarily matter what you stream off of. But I think for me, one of the most important things is consistency. It doesn't matter whether it's, morning or night. It doesn't matter. It just, as long as you can set a consistent schedule. Like, for example, you stream in the morning on Monday, you stream in the morning on Tuesday, you stream on the, at night on Wednesday, and that's your schedule. Like when I used to work as a line cook, it was not easy for me to set a schedule. So I would have to figure out when I'm streaming and, whether it's morning, whether it's night, whether I'm not even just able to stream at all that day, things like that. And I came to find out as I started to work there longer, and I was there, that was one of my longest jobs. I was able to push myself to have some sort of set schedule. And that's when I started to really focus on streaming only mornings. So if you're new to my channel or never heard of me before, I always stream in the mornings. Like, that is when I stream. I'm a morning person. I wake up at 8, start stream by 9. I usually go till 4 or 5. But I have had this same schedule for about 4 years. I would even say like maybe less, 3.5 years, 4 years. I think that's just so important because if people don't know when you're going live, they can't watch you. And I know Twitch has notifications for, when you follow, you go live, but sometimes you don't get those. That's why I always recommend following your favorite broadcasters on on Twitter. But I think to anybody that's starting out with on Twitch or on Mixer, on Facebook or on YouTube, wherever it may be, set a consistent schedule. And it doesn't necessarily need to be only mornings or only nights, but just try to set a consistent schedule, because that's the only way truly in the beginning people are going to find your channel. Because when people find you that first day, they want to keep coming back, but they don't know your schedule. If you stream on Monday in the morning and then the next week you stream on Monday at night, they may never come back because they don't know when you're streaming. So as somebody that has a little bit of experience on this platform, I think that's like the one thing, if you were going to stream on this platform, is to set a consistent schedule. And I know not everybody can do that, but I find that very, very important to create a consistent schedule and try to stay to it. And I know sometimes it's not possible, but you know what? Just try your damnedest if you want to. So this is a really tough question for me. I got asked, if you could have one conversation with your mom right now, what would it be about? If you guys didn't know, I lost my mom about 9 months ago, 8 months ago. She lost her battle with cancer. And, that question right there is tough, man. It's like I only get one, I only get one conversation. If I was able to have one conversation with my mom, I would just tell her thank you. My mom has truly allowed me to pursue this dream of content creating. My mom has allowed me to set money aside for both myself and Molly, for the future of, our family. I was able to pay off my student loans. I am now student loan debt free because of her. I am now potentially able to pay off Molly's student loans because of her. We're also able to, purchase our first home if we want to. And I think, to me, the one conversation I just would really just want to have with her is just thank her for everything. Of course I would trade every cent of it back to get her. But if I was able to have one conversation but not really change anything, I just would just say thank you. Because I truly, if you're not familiar with me or outside of Twitch, my mom did not know what she was giving me. Now, granted, you may be thinking like, oh, you got a bunch of money. It's not like that. But my mom did set me up with the idea that she only had her house to sell, to like give me to sell. But my mom gave me so much more. And I would just love to say thank you to her for everything that she's done with me. And I know it may sound like I only want to thank her for money, but she's done like my mom grew up in a single parent household, only child. My mom took me to every soccer practice. I played soccer for 14 years. Every soccer practice, every travel soccer game, my mom did everything for me. She got me all these consoles behind me. My mom did everything for me. So I would just, it wouldn't even be a conversation. All I would want is to give her a thank you and give her a big hug. That's all I would like to do. But I think, and I think whether you believe in it or not, I don't know what I believe in, but I would hope if she is out there, she knows how grateful I am for her.